Hi everyone, welcome to Zawia News. Today I, Jolas Armast, will be your host for a short interview with Ms. Jane Horton, who has over a decade of experience as one of the most respected and influential leaders in the national security and veterans spaces in Washington, D.C. and across the globe. She is known as a fearless and relentless advocate who has worked across the aisle with Democrats, Republicans, and independents alike to write multiple pieces of legislations, policies, and programs to better the lives of veterans, service members, and their families. Hi, so thank you very much for being here. We're really happy to have you. I've obviously read quite a little bit about you, but just to get started with this interview, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your work inside and outside Afghanistan?
Absolutely. I'm very humbled to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. It's one of the most important and special experiences of my entire life. This is my 6th trip to Afghanistan. I've been here multiple times in multiple different capacities as an advisor to U.S. General Dunford. I've come over with the U.S. Secretary of Defense and also come when I worked for the Afghan Embassy in Washington, D.C.
What makes this experience quite special relative to the previous ones? Because you referred to that.
This trip is my 2nd time I've come where I've been able to actually see the real Afghanistan and be able to interact with the Afghan people, to be able to try Afghan food instead of just going from military base to military base.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point, that you were able to actually see the real Afghanistan. So what does the real Afghanistan mean to you?
The real Afghanistan is my heart. My husband was killed in Paktia province in Zormat in 2011, and so my husband's blood is in the soil here, and my heart will always be in this country. And this place means more to me than I can ever explain to the Afghan people, but the amount that the Afghan people have given so much to me in return, and they have given me part of my heart back with their beauty, with their culture, and even coming to a place like this and seeing all the wonderful work you're doing and what a difference you're making in the country and in the world.
Thank you, and I'm really sorry about your husband. You have obviously a very diverse background, and you've served in various different positions. You've also worked as a contributing writer for various platforms. You've constantly been featured on various media platforms, and so we've read about your work. So I think I just want to ask, why did you decide to come to Afghanistan and work here in the first place?
You know, in America, unfortunately, we don't know that much about Afghanistan. We hear about the war. And we know that we have troops that serve, like my husband and so many others that have come back and forth. But we don't get to see the real Afghanistan. We don't get to see the beauty of the culture and the Afghan people. And I knew what I was being told wasn't what Afghanistan was, and I wanted to learn for myself. As mentioned earlier, you know, my husband was killed over here, and I didn't know anything about this place. So Americans don't know that much about Afghanistan overall. We see what the media tells us, and it's mostly war related. But after I lost my husband, I wanted to see for myself, what is this place? Who are the people? Why did my husband give his life? And so I came for the first time and just fell in love with the country. I had actually met local Afghans in America. And then when General Dunford brought me for the first time, I felt like I had gotten a piece of my heart back, and I just couldn't stop coming. And I will never stop coming. My heart will always be in this country, and my heart will always be with you and the people here, and I will do everything I can.
So now I'm going to ask a question that may be repetitive to you, and we've heard this quite a lot. So when we go abroad or when we meet internationals, there's like this perspective that the media shares outside Afghanistan, and then the new perspective that they get when they come and visit Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And I understand you also referred to that there's a lot that you heard from media before you came to Afghanistan, and I'm sorry to say it again, and you also lost your husband, and then you came to Afghanistan to learn more about the country, and then your perspective, I think, quite changed. So could you maybe just tell us how does the media shape the image of Afghanistan? What do you think about it, and how is it different than the real picture of Afghanistan that you experience as a person being here?
That's a wonderful question and a very important question. What I've learned to do in my mind is there is the war and there's Afghanistan. You know, it's a country and a people and a beautiful culture, and then there's a war over here with terrorists that are in your country. And I think Americans and the international community doesn't know how to separate that. And for me, every time I come over, I have to separate it when I get advice from people on what I should do in the country and where I should be. And so I always just remember I have Afghan friends in America that always tell me, this is our home. We're sad we can't go with you. We miss going home. And it's a city with 6 million people that wake up every morning and go to work, and people live here. And so, just remembering the people here and forgetting the war and just focusing on the good and the beauty of Afghanistan.
Career-wise, you've been traveling around the world and working in various places, as I previously mentioned. And so I think, just again, career-wise, how has your experience in Afghanistan been different than the other places that you've worked in?
Afghanistan, is just different. There's something special about it here. There's a beauty about the people, about your resilience, and just the culture overall. I love getting to know other cultures. I love getting to know other people, and I love getting to see the world. I think that's how we grow as humans, and that's how I grow, when I learn what other people think about certain things, or even how they view my country, and it helps me grow as an individual and a human being. But Afghanistan, the beauty of the people, the giving hearts, and the lovingness of the people here, and how they, it's how welcoming they are, is just amazing. There's nothing like it in the world.
So now, speaking about Afghan culture, on the fun side, how long have you been here? Where have you traveled across Afghanistan? What do you like about Afghanistan the most? And maybe I'll just ask some of your general insights and comments about Afghanistan and Afghan people, Afghan culture, etc.
I love the food. The food is amazing. It's delicious. Every time I fly in, it just takes my breath away. I flew from Turkey this time, and as I flew over the mountains, I just was breathless at how beautiful it is. And that's something each and every time that just blows my mind, just looking at the beauty of the country. I've been quite a few places, again, mostly with the military, so I can't say that I've been given the pleasure or privilege to be with the Afghan people on the ground. But I've been to Logar several times. I've been to Nangarhar, Kandahar, Helmand, Wardak, and several other places. So been quite a few places by air and in military bases, but the only place where I've really been able to interact with Afghan people is in Kabul.
We also spoke briefly about media and the role of media, about how they portray the image of a country. And so I think I'd just ask your insights and comments about generally like media and how it functions, and specifically media in Afghanistan.
Media is the voice of the people. Media shows people what's going on in the country, and what you're doing at Zawia is so important to show not only the Afghan people more of their country and the wonderful things that are going on, the people that are riding mountain bikes across the country, the women in government, the beauty of the culture, but also to show that to the rest of the world. Because unfortunately, it's not fair to Afghanistan and its people that when a lot of people look at the country, they see war. And so media is so imperative in showing the world the beauty of the culture and actually the people that live here outside of that.
I think I just want to emphasize on the term imperative that you just used. What do you mean by media being imperative?
Without the media and without people being able to see outside of their own homes and their own little communities, they will never know what's going on in the world. And so the media really is the voice of the people. And without companies like yours, without Zawia, and without the media, people won't see that, and they won't see the progress. And they'll only hear the bad that other people want them to hear.
So do you think there's a need for both to show everything that's going on, but also for digital media stations to, aim to reflect the positive image of Afghanistan and its people?
Absolutely, because you guys are so much more than the war. You guys are so much more. So much beauty to show, so many wonderful things that are happening. And the people I've got to meet this trip have really changed my life. They've really shown me the incredible future Afghanistan has. How many leaders are here, such as yourself, such as Esmat, such as so many others that are doing incredible things. And that's important to showcase. People need to see all the brave people and all the wonderful, smart people that are taking a stand and that are moving Afghanistan forward in incredible ways.
So I think before I move forward, I would like to thank you for your beautiful remarks about the people of Afghanistan, about its culture, the food, the country itself. And so I think I do want to ask whether you see yourself in Afghanistan for the next couple of years, or I think I think the next couple of years, whether you'd be willing to be working here, continue staying here and explore Afghanistan more, or not.
I will always be back and forth. Nothing can keep me away from this country. When I said it's my heart, I meant it. This is my heart, so you can't keep me far away from my heart.
So at the end, I think I'd like to ask you whether you have any message to share with the people of Afghanistan or with the people of the world, just about the people of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a country, again, its culture and everything that it entails.
Yes, I want to say I'm so proud and humbled to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. There's so many people, especially the military veterans community, that stands behind Afghanistan. We support you. We are not going to abandon you. We're not going to go away. I have so many people that have asked me, can I please come with you? I've gotten over 50 messages of people asking me if they can come with me next time. You know, people want to come. They want to be engaged. I'm working on giving the American people and the international community the tools that are needed to support Afghanistan. And so I just want the Afghan people to know that we love you and we support you, and stay brave. Anything we can do for you, I'm always here. And this is a beautiful, wonderful place, and the progress that's made, nothing will ever take that back.
I think that's a message that a lot of Afghan people would like to hear, and I think it's just very powerful that you shared it. And so I think as the last question, I'd like to ask you, you did state that a lot of people ask you whether they can come with you to Afghanistan and whether you'd recommend them coming to Afghanistan. So I think yeah, you do, but I think I want to hear it from you, whether you'd be recommending people to come to Afghanistan.
I definitely think people need to be informed about their visit and make sure that they know local people on the ground that can be with them. But 100%, I recommend coming.
So I think I do want to thank you for being here. We really had a fun interview, and thanks for your powerful messages to the people of Afghanistan and just generally being here.
And as you mentioned earlier, I have been humbled to give many interviews in my lifetime, but this is the most important one I will ever give. So thank you for this honor.
Thank you very much for sticking to us until the end. Until the next program, goodbye.